Welcome back, boys and girls. It's about that time of day again here, folks. Thanks for sticking around with me. This is your nightly newsletter for Thursday, the 13th of February, 2014. My name is Joseph. Now, we better be careful what we wish for. Now, let's just rewind the tape a little bit, all right? This evening, we're going to talk about some of the trades we talked about yesterday. We'll talk about what happened today. We'll talk about what's on the schedule for tomorrow. And of course, before we wrap up today, I've got some charts to look at here, so don't go skipping out early. I know we're almost to Valentine's Day, the week's almost over, but we got some more money to make tomorrow morning in the markets, possibly this evening. So hold on tight when we open up our charts in just a few moments. First of all, Monday was a sleeper. Tuesday was a sleeper. No major news. Monday and Tuesday, all we're doing here is waiting, saying, man, give me some volatility, please. Let's go, after non-farm payrolls came last week. Sure enough, yesterday, today, and most likely tomorrow, we're going to have some big opportunities again tomorrow. Wednesday was a huge day. Today, a huge volatility day. Looking over these markets today, guys, incredible volatility, amazing opportunities for traders. We made a killing this morning in our trade room. I hope you guys did well too. Don't forget, last night, just like tonight and the night before that, I'm going to give you some tradable areas on gold, crude, and Russell. Did you use them last night? Well, crude oil pretty much didn't do anything. It's still stuck in the mud around that big round number. But gold and Russell, go back and rewind the tape. Check out the chart. I'll put the chart below this video here tonight, and you can see both gold and mini Russell hit both of our profit targets. That's 2 days in a row. So very good trade calls. Most importantly, though, use the charts that I give you guys. Use those in combination with your trading plan. All right? You don't need to mimic mine. Wait, you don't have a trading plan? Well, having no trading plan is like jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. What's going to tell you what to do? What's going to prevent you from hitting the ground? You got to have a trading plan, guys. Call me in the office. We'll talk about your trading plan. I give it to all of our clients. Don't tell me you're trading based on emotions or news or whatever I say. Don't just trade based on what I say. Make sure you have a trading plan. All right? We'll talk about that on another call. First of all, crude today. We still had some pretty big ranges. What happened today? 126 ticks out of crude. 135, we're right around that 100, that big round number of 100. I was hoping we'd get away from this area, but, like I said earlier this week, if we keep kind of banging our head against this 100 up to 101, down to 99, we're stuck in the mud around this 100 number, something's got to give. I was talking about that this morning in the trade room with our students, and it's surprising. It's surprising. We normally don't see gold, equities this active, and to see crude stuck in the mud right now is a definite, it's a sign, right? Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And as I've been saying all week, what we're seeing right now is telling me we're going to be getting big moves here. There should be a lot of volatility in these markets. So crude is really the kind of the oddball out, right? It's the one that really hasn't moved as well this week. But hey, that's why we trade a universal methodology. Remember, it's easy when your trading strategies work on anything that's moving. So if crude's not moving, I'll run over to gold. Gold was a huge mover today. Still don't understand, right, who's trading gold higher and Russell higher. But hey, at the end of the day, do I really care why? No. All I care about is making my money and going home like the rest of us. Gold pushes higher. 168 ticks of range today on gold. We finished just over that big round number of 1,300. Yeah, that's right. That same number I told you about 2 weeks ago. The same number I reminded you about last night. The same number that I told you by the end of this week we would be at. I know. But of course, gold looks like a little kitty cat next to the big lion, the Russell right now. These equities, boy. Did somebody say back at all-time highs? Almost there. We're almost there again. Equities, of course, pushing higher. The Russell, 275 ticks of range. Now remember, when I talk about ticks of range, I mean up, down, sideways. What was the total range? Because as an intraday trader, I don't care if it goes up or down, right? All I care is it's moving. And so when somebody asks me at a dinner party or a cocktail party, hey, what did gold close at today? I say, I don't know where it closed today. I know it went up 100 ticks, down 150 ticks, but I don't care where it goes. All I care about is it moving? All right, is it moving? Russell and gold, big movers yesterday and today. So big thing on Russell. We've got some key levels of resistance on the Russell, though, coming up as we approach these all-time highs. So stick around for tonight's charts. You don't want to miss it. Bad news today was good news today. What happened in the news worksheet, right? In the economic news. First of all, we had big red star news. Jobless claims came out this morning, higher than expected. That's bearish for the dollar, right? Bad news for the U.S. And then retail sales. Retail sales fell hard. Blame it on the snow, but obviously bad retail sales, though. That's going to result in a tick down in GDP. It's also going to be a big, big impact player for tomorrow's industrial production. So very important. 2 red star news events this morning, 2 very bearish reports. Again, that makes a lot of sense why gold would rise. But I'll tell you, this is a big, big clue. I know I've been saying this for pretty much the entire year so far of 2014. I personally am very bullish on the U.S. economy and, in turn, equities. I still can't quite get my head around why gold is so bullish right now, but as a technical analyst, as a chartist, I really don't need to know why, do I? Yeah, it would be nice to impress you. I could brag to my buddies that I know why. But guys, does it really matter? No, it doesn't, right? We try to avoid that temptation of having to know why. Don't worry about why. Just worry about when and where. Because while I'm worrying about why, I'm missing the opportunity to print that cash all day long in the markets I'm focused on. So bad news today out of retail sales and jobless claims. A very interesting scenario. Makes sense to see gold go higher. But look at the Russell, though, right now. Look at those E-minis, the equity markets. I'll tell you guys, you know you're in a bull market when bad news is good news and good news is good news, right? That's the classic scenario. Am I bullish right now? You better believe it. Why? Because we got news the last few days that should not have been seen as good news. So why do equities keep rising higher? I know why. Do you know why? Again, that strength of the U.S. economy. It's also the only game in town, right? Equities are the only game in town right now. So come in tomorrow morning, join me in the trade room, and I'll show you how to either be a scalper or a swing trader or even a position trader on any of the equity markets that you want, right? I'll give you some solid strategies so you can capitalize on this bull market. We were supposed to have some more testimony today from our chairperson, Janet Yellen. But unfortunately, we have our 57th winter storm on the east coast of the U.S. Again, Mother Nature has a very odd sense of humor. I'm wondering when Mother Nature is going to run out of bullets right now. I mean, she is just pounding the east coast. And so, of course, Janet Yellen was scheduled to be testifying in Washington this morning. And, of course, they were getting buried in another couple feet of snow, right? I'm sure the kids are enjoying it, but I can't imagine too much fun for all the adults out there. This day in history. So we'll talk a bit more about today, and we'll get ready for tomorrow. This day in history, February 13th, 1633. That's right, 1633, right? Get a calculator out for that to figure out how long ago that was. My man Galileo, right? Galileo arrives in Rome. The Italian philosopher, right? This is the guy who believed, well, I'll let you finish here. So Galileo arrives in Rome to face charges that he advocated the let me try to make sure I pronounce this correctly, the Copernican Theory. And of course, the Copernican Theory, which of course I've given you a little URL there, right? Because I didn't know what the Copernican Theory was either. I knew that the sun was the center of the solar system, but I had forgotten the fact that Mr. Galileo, right, he was actually prosecuted. He was persecuted for advocating, right, telling everybody, hey, the sun is in the middle of the solar system, and we all of course, revolve around it. So groundbreaking, right? And it was a little bit after they figured out the world wasn't flat either. So as you can imagine, 1633, groundbreaking information. The sun is the center of the universe. Look at how far we've come. Now, fast forward a few hundred years, 1990, February 13th, 1990, the Dow Jones breaks 7,000. Now, that wouldn't be a big number. Who knows if that's good or bad? But what makes it incredible was that only 12 months later, the Dow was at 6,000. Right? What exponential growth. 12 months to go 1/7, right? To go an extra 1,000 points higher. It's pretty darn impressive. We talked about the S&P last night, right? Growing exponentially, doubling in size in a few years. And of course, 2001, this is pretty cool. Today, in 2001, General Motors and Fidelity Investments, they launched the first wireless mobile stock trading device for automobiles, right? Pretty cool. Now we have our little iPads and our iPhones now that we can do all that stuff with. But pretty interesting to think, though, that over 10 years ago, that technology was invented. Pretty cool. Now, what about tonight? What about tomorrow? Now that you know what happened today, what's happening tonight? We got actually a bunch of big news. We've got Red Star news out of China, and tomorrow morning we got Red Star news out of Europe. Be very aware if you're trading the evening session, if you're trading the Asian session or the London session right now, you got to be aware we're seeing consumer prices at 8:30 p.m. So in just a few hours, we're going to see the Chinese consumer prices tonight. The last time we had news coming out of China overnight was Tuesday evening, and you can remember what happened on Wednesday. Huge moves. So be ready for big moves overnight into London and into the U.S. session tomorrow. Also, we have a whole slew of data. We've got France, Germany, Italy. I can't remember who else it was. Spain, I believe, is there too. Tomorrow between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock Eastern time, we're going to hear from GDP from all the Eurozone tomorrow morning, at least all the big 4 or 5 countries in the Eurozone. So be aware if you're trading the European session. So currencies, gold, commodities, everything should be getting shaken up here overnight and into tomorrow morning. Now, speaking of tomorrow, we've got some big news here in the U.S. too. So we're going to keep the party going tomorrow morning. We've got import-exports at 8:30, industrial production at 9:15, and consumer sentiment just before 10 o'clock. So we get some big, big important news starting tonight at 8:30, tomorrow morning between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and then, of course, tomorrow morning here in the U.S. session, 8:30, 9:15, 9:55. Now, tomorrow's a big, big, big day. Why? On top of all the news, we've had some big ranges today. Crude though, small ranges on crude. Is tomorrow going to be the day? Industrial production is always a big, big headliner for crude traders. So I'm excited to see what tomorrow's going to bring. Tomorrow, obviously, too, is Valentine's Day. I warned you guys about this a few weeks ago. They're really making our job more difficult for Valentine's Day, aren't they? On a Friday, clearly St. Valentine never tried to drive to a restaurant in rush hour traffic in Los Angeles on a Friday. Clearly. Can I borrow a helicopter, please? How am I supposed to get to my reservation, huh? I'm kidding with you. But Valentine's Day is tomorrow. And they're making it pretty tough on us on a Friday. There should be a rule against Valentine's Day on a Friday. Give it to us on a Thursday or a Saturday. Give us a chance to do something great, right? Anyways. And of course, Monday, very important. Monday is President's Day. So that means that Friday, tomorrow, we have to get all of our trading done because whenever there's a missing day in the market, whenever the markets are closed, it creates a sense of scarcity. Now, scarcity in the markets, this is the reason why the stock exchanges, the futures exchanges, this is why they try not to close. Okay? When was the last time the NYMEX closed? It was about a year ago for Sandy, right? That superstorm Sandy. Well, what happens is when the markets are closed like that, it creates this pent-up volume. So when it reopens, it's violent and it's volatile and it's not good for anybody, really. So with Monday being a holiday, Friday, that's when all the trades have to be placed. So you know there's going to be a bunch of end-of-the-week chaotic trades going in the market on Friday. I can't wait to see what goes on, right? I hope it's exciting. I know it's going to be a good day for us no matter what happens. On a Friday morning, though, get in early, get out early. After 12 o'clock Eastern Time, p.m., of course, 12 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, we're done. We're going to wrap up the week here, count up all of our money, write in our journals, and get ready for next week. All right, guys? So a very exciting day today. We continue to roll through the month of February. The snow keeps falling. The bad news continues to be good news. And again, we've got some important news here coming out overnight to get things going for tomorrow morning. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Now, don't go quitting on me yet. I know. Go take care of Valentine's Day. That's almost more important. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But give me a few more minutes. Let's grab some charts. Let's get ready for tomorrow or tonight. If you're trading the Asian session, the London session, let's get ready for what's expected to be a pretty active overnight session into tomorrow morning. Let's jump in.
All right, boys and girls, thanks for sticking around here with me this evening. Let's keep rocking and rolling here today. Now, the first thing we'll do is we'll jump right into crude oil futures here this evening. Now, crude has been stuck in the mud this week. Boy, I'll tell you, I've been watching crude for over 10 years every single day, and I very rarely do I catch myself saying, why isn't crude moving? And, of course, we try not to worry about the why. We try to be ready for the when and the where. So right now, although I could think of a few different reasons why things are stuck in the mud right now, all I really can tell you is we got to continue to be ready, because one of these days we're going to get this big, huge range out of this thing, because we know this has been some of the most stagnant crude prices in a long time. So first of all, I can see that we're stuck in the mud here, right around this 100 level, right around this previous week high. We've been there since last Friday. If you recall, this was last Friday. Now that was crude that we're used to seeing, right? That was some crude right there. But then we proceeded to move here and just slopped around Monday. Tuesday was an inside day. Wednesday was a very interesting day. Overnight, we had news from China on Tuesday night. That pushed prices higher on crude oil. But if you recall, trading it on Wednesday morning, this was horrible. Wednesday morning was horrible. And then after about 11:30, the bottom fell out of it on very low volume, and it just kind of tumbled back right on down to 100. So light volume moves. We had already given up on crude on Wednesday afternoon, and we had already made our money on gold and Russell. So didn't even bother with crude on Wednesday. And then here we are on Thursday, just stuck in the mud, went higher, right? Made some money on it, but not the crude that we're used to seeing, right? Definitely not the crude that I'm used to seeing. So like I said before, I'm not going to try to think about why. All I know is that tomorrow morning, I'm going to be ready for whatever this market throws at me. Sideways ranges, narrow range, closing in the middle. Looking at the volume profile, we can see the volume is stacked right in the middle here once again. So we are completely in balance right now on crude. I don't think this is going to keep lasting forever. It can't keep lasting for that much longer. And hopefully we'll be ready for tomorrow morning. An opening print above 166, I'm looking for a buy. An opening print below 99.54, and I'm looking for a sell. Now, below 99.54, we have an easy hop, skip, and jump down to 97.79, and this overall 97, we'll say 97.50 area. Okay, so we get below 99.50, we have $2. That's 200 ticks of range that we could easily tumble right back down to. So be ready for the short. It'll be an easy short. Now, the long, it's difficult to say. We're going to have to wait and see how the strength looks. But if we open up above 166, we can pretty much bank on the fact we're going straight to 101.38. Then we got 102, the big round number will be next from there. I'm going to have to give you some further guidance, though, on the anchor chart for that. So we see right now this narrow range on the VIP. This narrow range for the third consecutive day, fourth consecutive day. Something's going to happen. Narrow ranges usually result in big wide ranges, right? Look at gold, for example, this week. But for some strange reason, we've been stuck in the mud here on crude, and eventually this thing is going to thaw out, and we're going to get some big, big opportunities, all right? So don't say I didn't warn you. Don't fall asleep at the wheel out there right now. Make sure you're ready for this thing tomorrow morning. Now, looking at crude here on the anchor chart. Here's my anchor. Now, we do have a bullish trend in the long term, as you can see, right? Very easy to see here. We got a pretty significant bullish trend. We're coming up on rollover. That'll probably be end of next week on the 18th. But as you can see, though, real easy to see. We are moving higher. But boy, this week, though, has been nothing but sideways, slop, and chop. You can see we are making some new higher lows and higher highs, but it's really having a difficult time getting away from this 100 even area. You can see we're just stuck in the mud. So with that said, I can't say we're trending right now. Definitely can't say we're trending higher. I can definitely say, though, that we have pushed higher in the past and that we are currently consolidating and we are sideways. So here's how we trade this tomorrow. I'm looking to buy at the low. I've got 99.60. Take my profit at the high. I'm looking to sell at the high. Take my profit at the low. I want to avoid this area right here. I'm warning you right now, guys, if we sit here tomorrow again at 100 even, just close the chart up. All right? There's going to be plenty of other opportunities elsewhere, but I'm not trying to get bogged down forcing positions around 100 even. So, because we can't find a trend on this chart, I'm looking for fake out breakouts. I'm looking for consolidation, so I'm expecting to fade the breakouts. What this means is that as I look at my anchor chart, I've got levels here now, as you can see in the green boxes. These levels are all going to be buying opportunities below me. So I'm going to buy 99.60. I'm looking to buy 99.25. And if we happen to tumble, I've got the low of this big bull channel. So definitely look to buy the low of the bull channel. And then also to buying the 98.03. Okay, those are my buy zones. Got 4 different levels there to be buyers. If we go higher, I'm selling the 196. I'm selling the 115, the high of that zone. I'm selling the 101.68. All right, if we go higher. Now, if we blow right through 101.15, I'm going to really be watching closely at this 101.68 because remember, right now, nobody's in charge. So tomorrow morning is going to be really important. We've got major news out of China overnight. We've got major news tomorrow morning out of Europe. So this could really change fast. Between the time that we go to bed here in the U.S. and wake up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, a lot can change in a very short period of time. So it's really all going to be dependent on what the personality looks like tomorrow. If I wake up tomorrow morning and I can just feel these sellers have taken control, I'm going to then change my opinion and I'll be looking to sell between these areas. But chances are high, though, it's going to still show us a little bit more of what we've seen already, unless we get that definite change in direction, that definite market sentiment that screams at us the bulls or the bears are in charge. So unless something drastic happens overnight, I'm buying lows, I'm selling highs, I'm fading breakouts, and I'm going to trade very carefully on Friday for crude. But at the same time, I'm excited to see what tomorrow looks like because, again, if we start to see a definite trend develop, I will follow that trend because I assume it's going to be after hearing from all this Red Star news happening overnight and tomorrow morning. So check back with me tomorrow morning on crude oil. Come join me in the trade room, and I'll walk you right through what we're seeing in real time. Moving forward, let's go grab some gold. Now, gold has been fun to trade this week. It really has. We began the week here, you can see, trading sideways. So slopping around, a narrow range day led to a huge range on Tuesday. Tuesday's large range led to another narrow range on Wednesday. And then even though the range today doesn't look as big and powerful as Tuesday's range, today was a really good day on gold. We opened up inside the range, so we treated it as a sideways range, but we quickly, though, found some trends, and we jumped on board here to the buy side and took it higher. So as you can see, finished a pretty good move higher there, all the way up to, there it is, that 1300 level. Remember, I've been talking about 1300 since the beginning of last week. We've had that on our radar for quite some time. So tomorrow, really, again, a lot of this is dependent on what happens here overnight from China, from Europe, and tomorrow morning we've got consumer confidence, we got industrial production, so a lot of this is going to be data dependent for tomorrow. But no matter what happens, if we open up here tomorrow morning at 820 on gold, above the 1300.9, I'm bullish and I'm buying. If we open up tomorrow morning at 8:20 a.m. below 91.8, I'm bearish and I'm looking to sell. If we go higher, I'll show you my anchor chart. My anchor chart's got some great levels for you guys there if we go higher. If we go lower, though, I'm definitely hunting for that previous week low, 1275, 1272. That's definitely where we should end up tomorrow if we do open below that 1291.8. And guys, remember, when I say open below, we also have to get confirmation that we're going to continue in that direction. So you'll see times where we open up below, right? But then we go right back into that range again, like we saw in crude today. Okay, crude opened below and Russell opened today below and then went right back in. So the opening print is only as good as what follows. All right. In our trade room, we do a lot of research on that. We watch the opening bell, we watch the opening print, and then 15 minutes after the opening bell, we then know what that market personality looks like. So again, join me tomorrow for an update on this. But an opening print above the 00.9, and I'm bullish. Opening print below 1291.8, and I'm bearish. And again, this very bullish scenario here, we are expecting this to continue into tomorrow, but we got to wait and see what that news looks like here. We got a lot of major news coming out. If that news comes out bearish for the US dollar or for the euro, you know gold's going to keep going higher. I got no problem buying pullbacks on gold all day tomorrow again. All right, so be ready for gold tomorrow, depending on where it opens tomorrow morning at 8:20. Now, speaking of the Russell, what a big day on the Russell. This was a great example today of how we opened up below the range. All right, now I'm sure many of you are probably saying, Joe, didn't you tell me that if it opened up below the range, we were bearish? Well, remember, just the opening print's not enough. I need to get confirmation, because oftentimes what happens is news that comes out overnight pushes the Russell lower, so that by the time it opens in the U.S., it is below yesterday's range. But then here's what happened. The U.S. traders step in because now they're participating. They see value in higher prices, and they drive the price up. So the opening print outside below it doesn't guarantee we're selling. Like I always say, I'm not just going to hit the sell button and then walk away. I have to wait for a selling opportunity. So we opened up below the range today. I immediately began looking for a selling opportunity, but it never came, and it just jumped right up. So I'm not going to sit here and go, it's supposed to be bearish, because it's not, right? It did open up below the range. That's a clue, and I only consider it to be bearish when I see my first selling opportunity below that range. So none of this is just a trigger to get in short below it or a trigger to get in long. Once we see the opening print, tomorrow morning, if the opening print is above 46.6, I assume that we're bullish, and I will then look for a buying opportunity. If we open tomorrow morning below 19.2, that should be bearish, excuse me. Okay, we are bearish, and I'm looking for a selling opportunity to go lower. Okay, so that's the information you need to be aware of for tomorrow. Today we had a dramatically higher two-day relationship. We had a very wide range, and we closed right up near the highs. Now think about the clues that's giving us. First of all, what usually follows a very wide range day? A very narrow range day. So the likelihood for tomorrow to be a narrower range is high. It's a very high likelihood tomorrow will be a much narrower range. However, like I said before, we've got some major news on the schedule tonight, so anything could happen for tomorrow, right? I don't think traders really care that today's range was really wide. If this news shocks everybody overnight or tomorrow morning, if we get a big surprise out of the news calendar, we're going to see this thing continue to move. So can't tell you right now what direction it's going in. I would assume, though, based on the anchor chart, we're going to pull back a little bit. But this closing print near the highs tells us those buyers, boy, they didn't give up. So these buyers held on to control all the way until the very last moment of the day. Normally, when we see these big moves up like this, we'll see some profit taking, and price will come back down off those highs. But we didn't get the profit taking this time. What we did see, though, was that continuation and the close up near the highs. So very bullish clues on this. But the narrow range and tomorrow's major news gives me a few variables that I need to be aware of. Okay, I will expect to see a narrower range tomorrow, but that news, it may shake things up dramatically. Let's keep going. Now that we got our VIP chart done to the Russell, how about the anchor chart? Now the anchor chart is what leads me to believe that we have a pullback coming here, because you can see here I've got my big bullish channel. You can see that bullish channel goes all the way back here a full week. So we've had quite a bit, right? Quite a bit of bullishness on these equities over the past week. That was after a previous week where we had a bunch of pretty much we had a sell-off on the equities taking profit at those all-time highs. Now, here we are. I can easily see right now that I'd be a fool to be a buyer right now in the Russell, right? I got to really be patient right now in the Russell. I say that because we are all the way up at a premium price. Now, you've heard me say this before. I'm not going to buy a car at a premium. I want to buy a car at a discount. If somebody doubles the price of the brand new car, I'm not going to buy it. But if somebody discounts the price, now I'm interested in buying it because it's at a value. Look what's happening in the Russell right now. The Russell is all the way overbought, at the highs, at a premium, whatever you want to call it. I think of this as I would be buying at a premium. Rather than buying at a premium, wouldn't it be better to buy at a discount? Absolutely. And this is exactly how we make money every day in our trade room. It's how we made money last night on the trade call on gold and Russell last night. It's how we made money the night before that and the night before that. Now, if it doesn't pull back, right, like crude oil. Crude oil last night never pulled back all the way before it went higher. Okay, so boo-hoo, sometimes it doesn't pull back all the way and then it goes. If it goes without me, once I get that new higher high, then I'm looking to get in here long again and go with that trend. I just don't want to buy at the high. I don't want to buy at a premium. So my goal right now for the Russell to get ready for tomorrow is I've got some levels here. I would love to buy this 32.9, 29.7. I would also love to buy the 25.1 or the 22. And you know where I'm going with that, right? All the way back up. Final targets up top here. Let's take a look. So now, again, we know the plan. The plan is to buy on a pullback, right? Buy at a discount. Now, tomorrow, we may see things lower. It may be higher. No matter what happens tomorrow, though, remember, buy at a discount. So as price goes lower, I can look to get long around the 38.5. I can look to buy the 34.3, but I'd really like to look to buy this 32.9, this 29.7, 25.1, 22.3. And where's my targets going to be? So if I pull back to my red moving average here, I will look to get long there. It's not what I would like to do ideally, but that will be the first chance I get there at 38.5, right, to be a buyer. Then targets overhead. 47.2, 49.9, 54.8, 58.2, and we get a big zone overhead. This is a monthly zone here, guys. So under normal conditions, I would say no way we're going all the way up there. But boy, you really got to be careful saying no way, can't happen, because we have seen some remarkable moves here this year, and it's only February of 2014. So you know what I'm looking for here, folks. I want to buy it after it pulls back. You could get selling short here tonight, all right? But again, you're really playing with fire here, going against that trend right now. I would wait for price to come back, show me what it wants, show me it's bullish. Once it turns around again, then I know I've got all this built-in profit overhead, right? I got all this built-in profit to take overhead. So buying on discounts, buying on pullbacks, clearly a bullish trend. I've given you guys great targets overhead. And again, you can start buying this as early as that 38.5. But the ideal scenario here is 32.9, 25.1, and then all the way back up. All right, guys? That wraps it up here for me this evening. From the entire team here at School of Trade in our corporate office in Los Angeles, California, I want to thank you for joining me this week. Friday, I will not be back on Friday. We only do these Monday through Thursday. Monday is a holiday. So I'll see you guys back here on Tuesday evening for your nightly newsletter. Don't forget to join our free trial. Don't forget to join the newsletter, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have yourselves a great Valentine's Day, a very happy and safe and restful holiday weekend, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Trade room opens up at 8 o'clock Eastern Time in the morning. Newsletter goes out at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the evening. Don't forget to learn it so you can earn it. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.